Kumaragom is one of the main tourist places in mid-Kerala. Lots of tourist attractions are here for visitors. Bay Island Driftwood Museum is located in the midst of the pristine natural setup of CHAKRAMPADY in Kumaragom, Kerala.
This Bay Island Driftwood and Fossil Museum has been functioning since 2001. These are the collections from Bay of Bengal near Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Only after the hits of small tsunamis. As Andaman and Nicobar Islands are nearby the earthquake belt, minimum 3-4 times the trembling occurs there, and maximum trembling where there is a hit of small tsunami. Immediately after that, I used to be around the islands where hit comes within 2 days to gather all these things. Like that, about 25 years effort gathered 144 sculptures. While playing with my child amid the waves in the ocean, accidentally I got one monkey's poster with unwanted branches. I dragged and brought home. After chopping the unwanted branches with hacksaw blade, monkey was attracted by everybody, and that inspiration made me to start this hobby of collecting driftwood exhibits. And actually the rosewood trees of Andaman banks are falling due to soil erosion, and roots are drifting into the water during the time of cyclonic hits and blocking by the islands going under the water. And after centuries, by the beating of the waves, scrubbing by shells, corals and stone, along with that twisting in the current and decaying, giving it accidental shape. And centuries seasoning in salt water and air made it fossilized. So this is now in between wood and the coal. Wood, fossil, next stage is coal or diamond, then oil. This museum has come to the light of the world by the writings of famous Professor Lewis from Kentucky, US. He wrote in the tourism directories of the world, and he has written, like Newton observing the apple fall and finding gravity, Rajipunus has the ability to see further than all of us and discover nature's work and present to us in the form of drifting wood sculptures. In 2004, it has been awarded as the most innovative tourism project, and by 2010, it has been recorded in the Limca Book of Record. And just before that, the famous sculptor of US, Joseph Wheeler, who is the professor of Harvard University, came here and he drew my head and eyes, and he told me, next year you would be in the Limca Book of Record, and it has been recorded. And in 2013, it has been recorded in the India Book of Records. And 2 months before, in 2018, now it is recorded as the largest driftwood and fossil museum in URF World Records. And I pray that may Lord help us to get this museum be recorded in the Guinness Book of the World. And it is a trust in between me and my husband now. I am the curator of the museum, and he is the director of this museum.
My name is Pignos Cherian. During my student days, I specialized in the construction, maintenance, and also planning of harbors which are required for the berthing of ships. So obviously, after the education, I was attracted towards Andaman and Nicobar Islands, where a large number of harbors were to be constructed, small harbors of course, but these islands are located far away from the Indian mainland, and people were not really willing to go all the way there and work. So during that period, that is during 1970s, I happened to go there along with my wife, And as you know, there are about more than 500 islands. The speciality of these islands is this, that is about 90% of the area are forests and with valuable timber. And this timber, after their life is over, they fall down, they get disintegrated. Some of them go into the sea also and start drifting.
Driftwood means the wood which is drifted for centuries in the ocean and molded as sculptures by nature through hydrodynamic process.
And those who love nature, they naturally like these islands also, because there are many type of birds and wild animals in the sense not exactly wild, but they will not do any harm to us, but there are many creatures available in Andaman and Nicobar Islands.
Scientists are having the view that apart from rosewood, all wood will perish within a century in the ocean. And these are for millions of years, for generations. While drifting in the ocean, the beating of the waves, scrubbing by shells, corals and stone, along with that twisting in the current and decaying, giving it accidental shape. And centuries season made it fossilized. Californian students, when visited here after seeing, they wrote here, till now we had been to the beach to enjoy the beauty of the nature. In future, without picking up something, we will not be back. That much of inspiration for creativity and imagination.
So after the collection of this fossilized wood and driftwood, we had no idea that we are going to start a museum, but after coming here, we got inspiration from various corners, and we started it experimentally, and we were given very much support from the art-loving people of India and many other foreign countries.
This museum has been named as Bay Island Driftwood Museum because these are all the collections from Bay of Bengal near Andaman and Nicobar Islands. The other name of Andaman and Nicobar Islands, Bay Islands, because they are located in Bay of Bengal. This is the masterpiece for Europeans, and that is the masterpiece for Indians, the ferocious crocodile. Look at the backbone molded in the ocean, taking centuries. Look down and see the stomach and the muscle. Please see the old curves. Jaw has gone in, chin has gone with teeth mark, even hanging underneath. And it is for millions of years, for generations. Apart from the teeth, all drifted roots. This was a branch like this. Another branch was this way. After chopping, it has become the ferocious mouth. To chop off the unwanted branches from top and bottom, 45 days it took for me. And scientists are having the view that it is guaranteed for millions of years, for generations, because it is fossilized. And this is the only one having the sound of a drum. Scientists are having the view that this is very near to coal. Many thousands and thousands of years must have seasoned in the ocean to be sounded like a drum. A big seabird is looking at you, a beautiful crane looking down, and a dove. Today's young one just hatched out of the egg. Yesterday's young one wing is growing, mother is on the nest. It's a broken nest and young one is grown up myna, little sparrow with natural eye mark. The mother crow is feeding the baby. The empty nest's beauty. Wag tail, wing and the tail shaking bird. A pheasant crow, look at the beak and the proportionate gapping in between the beak. No human in the world can mold the proportionate gapping in between the beak. A baby lamb, legs are ahead, head is beside, mouth, 2 ears and the tail. The prehistoric rhinoceros, a physically challenged family. She got one of the half legs, managing with a stick. When I am holding it, see the hollow, natural hollow and folded fingers molded in the ocean. Physically challenged husband who can't speak is controlling the naughty boy through the gesture of the finger. Could you see the nail mark? Nail and the division of the vein on the palm, that finger controls the cranky child. It's a rabbit. Look at the mouth, eye and ears. Ear is turned to hear the voice. Letters Y, U and S. And a snake is hanging down with a prey in the mouth. No machine, no human can mold S or U. Only nature taking centuries in the ocean. These are all Australian breed rosewood. Yellowish, brownish and black. African tribal widow lady, starving and dying. They believe due to her only husband dies. And they bury the dead body of the husband inside the forest in the sitting posture, and above that a hut is made for the lady to starve and die, inch by inch without food or water. Such a starving widow she is. They are the tribals, their bow, arrow and the basket. These are cane wires with the flints they make. The wires from the cane. No cloth, no weapon for them. Camel. Even the coloring is done by nature in the water. Kangaroo and its joy in the pouch. Look at the style of folding the legs of the joy. This is my first exhibit while playing with my child in the ocean amidst the waves. I got this. And it is totally hollow. But it is like stone, very heavy. The neck, head, eye and the beak of a bat. Hen is grooming the chicks. Yesterday's female and today's male one is ready to take off. A blooming bud of rose. It was a joint of rosewood root fallen into the ocean many centuries back. After chopping the tips with hacksaw blade, now seen as a bud of rose. Look at the innermost petal which is erected in the center, which cannot be molded by a human. A duck in the water with a natural yellow eyeball in the right spot. Night heron which is coming from Russia during season, coming to Kumaragam. Look at the sculpture of my Lord Jesus Christ, standing on a driftwood root and blessing you all with the right hand before going out of the museum. Could you see his ribs? And the discoloring of a cross of his sacred heart is clear on the chest by nature. Could you see the cross? It's a mini museum. And it's a dove, a parrot, monkey, an owl, black ant, male puppy, bear, snake, a rhinoceros, bird, and an elephant with a natural eye mark in the right spot. This is seen as a tree drawn by an artist. The left out part of a huge root, all the rest decayed and perished. And this museum has become the first and last museum of India because only from Andamans we are able to collect such exhibits, fossilized sculptures. And after tsunami of 2004, everything is banned by Supreme Court. As all islands are tilted, corals are washed off. Anytime with a trembling, any island will go down. That's the view of the scientist. So only limited areas can be visited by tourists now, and nobody can pick up anything. When my husband retired, I took voluntary retirement and started this museum at Kumaragam, CHAKRAMPADY, because it is the nearest tourist spot from our home. When my husband retired, I took voluntary retirement from my service and started this museum near our home at Kumaragam, CHAKRAMPADY. If Lord helps, this can be promoted to the Guinness Book of the World Record, and God may help us to promote the museum with a light and sound show. Already I have written the script to promote the museum with a light and sound show. Each sculpture can speak to you historically, chronologically, as they were the spectators in the beaches, visualizing the incidents of Cellular Jail of Andamans. People from states, countries and continents are visiting us by the grace of Lord, and all are happy after the visit, as it is a memorable incident of their life and may God help us to get this museum be promoted for the future generations and for charity work. Thank you.
To experience the real beauty of these archaeological wonders of the museum, one must come here and experience it personally.